Welcome back to the Talking Sports Podcast, hosted by Peter DiBiasi and John Rocco Trumpbour, right here on YouTube, Apple Podcast, and Spotify. Guys, we appreciate everyone that is clicking on the episode. If you're watching on YouTube, drop a like, drop a comment. If you're listening on the audio platforms, either Apple Podcast or Spotify, drop a 5-star, drop a review, all that fun stuff. And we hope you guys enjoy the NFL mock draft episode. But before we get started, JR, social media, and tell everyone about our sponsor.
Yeah, so on social media at Talking Sports PD, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok as well. Just keep up with us with all the content we post, whether it's top prospects in the draft or just future picks for the NBA playoffs. Keep up to date with us about that. At Talking Sports PD on all social medias. And then, like Pete was saying, we are now sponsored by UnderDog Fantasy. So if you use our code, first-time user, use our code TSP while signing up, they will match your deposit up to $100, minimum of $10. So if, you throw in 10, they'll match it. So you'll have $20 in your account. And, NBA playoffs here, makes the games more interesting. You do parlays on how many players score, how many points. And you could also do it, I think, for the NFL draft, possibly.
I haven't looked into it, but it's probably something that you can do.
Yeah. So, use our code TSP if you're a first-time user, and they will match your deposit.
If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Road to 3K begins. We're at 2.57K, I believe. Off the top of my head, drop a like, drop a comment. Who's your favorite team drafting? Who's your favorite draft prospect? I'd like to see that in the comment section. But we're going to get started. So today's episode, we're doing a full mock draft, but we're not doing each of our own picks. So we're each going to be our own GM. So JR is going to have the first pick. He'll be selecting for the Carolina Panthers, and then I'll be selecting for the Houston Texans. JR will go with the Cardinals at 3. I'll go with the Colts at 4, and I think you guys get the gist, and we'll do 31 picks. So we're going to get started here, and also before we get started, I want to make sure we say this is what we think will happen, kind of like our predictions. It's obviously virtually impossible to predict it. This is more of a fun exercise and for good content, but we're saying what we think will happen, not what we would do if we were in those shoes. And because we're on StreamYard with our new graphic, we cannot go over an hour. So we're going to have to get started here. So, JR, I'm going to start with you. The Carolina Panthers are on the clock. First pick of the NFL draft. What are they doing?
Yeah, so if I'm Carolina Panthers, they're going to go Bryce Young out of Alabama, the QB, off the board. I mean, I definitely think they're going to go QB here. They traded a lot, including DJ Moore and a couple of first-round picks with the Bears. They had their QB in mind. And I believe Bryce Young's kind of canceled all future visits after I think he met with the Panthers, or I read something about that. I think it's not a guarantee because you never know in the NFL draft, but I think Bryce Young is going to be the guy that the Panthers go, and it's kind of the easy choice for me to pick right now.
We're not going to go back and forth on every pick, but I want to say about Young, his, I guess, Vegas odds have boosted up to minus 1,000 almost at this point.
Yeah.
You go with the first overall pick. I'm not saying that's 100% correct, but when it was around the plus 100, minus 100 about a week ago, and now it's minus 1,000 a couple of days before the draft.
They know something.
I'm pretty sure it's going to be Bryce Young. So with the second pick of the NFL draft, that is the Houston Texans. And this is interesting. We're not going to go deep dive in every pick, but we're at the top, the quarterbacks. They've been rumored, CJ Stroud. They've been rumored recently. Will Levis has jumped into the conversation to be the second pick of the draft. They've also been rumored they don't want to take a quarterback. They also have another
first rumors pick going around.
There's a lot of rumors, and I think there's a harder pick than what Jared just had to do.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm going to say it's smoke. I'm not going to buy the smoke with the Will Levis.
Yeah.
Which means it's going to be CJ Stroud, quarterback of Ohio State. I know he just had that test, that quarterback test, and it was a red flag, quote unquote, by some NFL personnel. I still think he's the second best quarterback in this class. I think if you're Houston, you cannot mess this up, right? We know when teams mess this pick up, it sets their franchise back. People lose jobs. I think CJ Stroud in the right system is going to be a very good quarterback. He has better measurables as a quarterback than Bryce Young. I think Bryce Young has a little higher ceiling. I just think Will Levis and I think Anthony Richardson are too much of a wild card. I loved C.J. Stroud in college, but I do think he needs the right system. I think he needs the right players around him. So I think a year or two, it might take him a year because I don't think Houston's ready to compete at all. I don't think they have the weapons to compete. But I like C.J. Stroud. I think he's a slam dunk prospect. I think he's a slam dunk pick at number 2. And I would be shocked if they go Will Levis, even though all the smoke.
Yeah, and something with the cognitive test that you were talking about.
Yes.
I was seeing this thing on the Pat McAfee show just before we started this. And the guy who created the test said the numbers I've seen a lot are false, and not to say he didn't name names or anything, but he just said there was a lot of circumstances around the test that people just took out of proportion. So it's not as big of a deal as people may think.
It's smoke. It's smoke.
So for the third pick, I am the Arizona Cardinals, and your pick right there. What?
I was gonna say before you get to this, it was this is a kind of a trade out kind of spot. If we're not doing trades,
I know.
The Cardinals are not in the quarterback position. They probably could trade out, but keep going.
But I think your pick that you just made it easier for me to make mine. I'm going Will Anderson, Alabama. I mean, they lost J.J. Watt and they lost Chandler Jones the year previous. Their defense is lacking. I know they're going to lose DeAndre Hopkins. They got a lot of other holes to fill, but I think Will Anderson might be the best position player in this draft overall. Him or maybe Jalen Carter. But yeah, they definitely lacking an edge rusher, especially with J.J. Watt retiring. Not saying he was, the guy that a great player for them. He's getting older, but he's still J.J. Watt. So I think Will Anderson can, change defense. He's that talented of a player. So I think that your pick with C.J. Stroud made mine a lot easier. So I'm going Will Anderson.
I like it. Cardinals probably not in the quarterback market. Obviously with Kyle Murray, long-term extension or long-term contract, and they're definitely probably in the best. They're probably in the BPA market, best player available market. Yeah, and that's probably Will Anderson. For the Colts at number 4, this is where the Colts are very interesting, right? If the Cardinals want to trade out of number 3 because a team moves up to get a quarterback that wants to jump the Colts, that's kind of the team you have to jump. The Colts could also get a little cold feet and move up to 3. We've seen it happen before, notably the Chicago Bears and with the 49ers when the Chicago Bears took Mitch Trubisky. That didn't obviously work out in their favor, so maybe they don't do it. The Colts at number 4, they're going to go quarterback, and they're going to go the most polarizing quarterback in the draft, as they have to go find it now, and that is Anthony Richardson, quarterback, Florida. This is going to be one of the prospects that's going to be talked about throughout the first round of the draft, no matter if he gets picked 4th or 20th, right? They're going to be talking about him because he probably has the most upside when it comes to quarterbacks, the most potential. But he also probably has the biggest boom or bust. This is a guy that's going to take some time. He's going to take some refining. He might have to sit a year. But I think the Colts view him higher than Will Levis. I think they don't love Will Levis' ceiling. I think they love Richardson's ceiling. And even in year 1 of Richardson starting, which I think would be a mistake, he still has incredible legs. He has an incredible deep ball. He just needs to be refined. This is a lot of similar to when Josh Allen came out of college. And not everyone that has Josh Allen's tape out of college turns into an NFL superstar. That just doesn't happen. More of the times they bust. But teams will still take that chance. I think the Colts take that chance, and I think they go Anthony Richardson with the 4th pick.
Yeah, I could definitely see them, it's kind of like a spark type pick. It's kind of gives you something wild card type on your offensive side. At number 5, the Seahawks are up, and I think this is a pick that he's kind of fell on some people's draft boards during the pre-draft process. That is Jalen Carter, D tackle out of Georgia. I think this guy's I was saying him and Will Anderson are debatably the best overall player in this draft. I think the Seahawks have some history of taking players with some off the field issues and making them working with them, and plus they are lacking in D-line and pressure, and this guy could just really gives so much to your defensive line. He's a problem. And he could ultimately be one of the best players in this draft, 5 years from now. So I think this, Seahawks are happy he fell, but also the 3 teams took a quarterback above them. So yeah, I think Jalen Carter here.
Detroit Lions are on the clock. I'm in a tough spot here. I believe I'm in a tough spot here because of the fact that I think if Jalen Carter or like a Will Anderson were there, they would probably go one of those 2 guys. I also think there's a small chance, like Jalen Carter, Will Anderson, they go there. They're not going to go quarterback, I don't think. I think they like Jared Goff for at least another year. They could go corner and like a Devin Witherspoon, but that might be too early at number 6. I think they go the second best edge rusher in this draft, Tyree Wilson, Texas Tech. I like Tyree Wilson. There's more smoke that he might go to the Houston Texans. I read a report about today. I don't know if that's true, but if people are writing about him going second, then taking him 6th is not out of the ballpark for, obviously, the Detroit Lions. You pair him with Aiden Hutchinson across the sides. That's a deadly duo. I think they would go Jalen Carter. I think they would go Will Anderson. But I don't know if they want to go O-line at 6. I don't know if that, I don't think there's a prospect you take at 6. And I guess you could go corner, but they've already taken a corner on the top 10 recently, and he's no longer on their team in Jeff Okudah. I think they go a surefire dunk, bolster up that edge, and you go Tyree Wilson, defensive end, Texas Tech.
Okay, I like that pick. So now I am number 7 for the Las Vegas Raiders. I think they debatably might have went, QB, but seeming that the top QBs are already off the board. I think they're going to shore up that offensive line for Jimmy G, because their offensive line was not great. But between 2 guys, I'm going to take the guy that I like more, and that's Peter Skoronski. Let me try to find him here.
Northwestern.
Yeah, the Northwestern tackle. He's kind of my favorite tackle in this draft. It was between him and Paris Johnson Jr. But yeah, I think they got to shore up that deep offensive line and address the tackle position, especially with Jimmy G, who's had, injury problems. Got to protect him. And yeah, so that's my best offensive line guy available, in my opinion.
That could also be a sneaky spot for Will Levis at 7 if they want to.
Yeah, I didn't reach for that.
And Will Levis, but I agree. I think I like best player available, like tackle, not a bad option. I'm the Atlanta Falcons GM at 8. I hate this. I don't like this. I don't know. I feel like I'm getting the raw end of some of these, because I'm on PFF. We're doing a mock draft as well on there. Just we can tweet it. There are 3 needs: quarterback, wide receiver, and edge. I think this is too early for a receiver. I like a lot of these receivers, but I like a lot of these receivers maybe 15 on.
Mm-hmm.
Or is that just me saying that I want them to get to 27 for the Bills? That might just me be doing that as well. But I don't know if you can take a receiver at 8. I don't think this is the class to do this. Doesn't mean I think a lot of those guys are going to be studs. Doesn't mean you don't take them. Edge, Tyree Wilson, that was their 3rd need. Edge, he's already off the board. You could go Miles Murphy. You can go Lucas Van Ness. You can go Nolan Smith. I'm going to go a little weird here. I'm going to go BPA. I'm going to go best player available on the PFF board. And that is going to be, as I forget to go get the guy, Devin Witherspoon, corner, Illinois. This might not be their most glaring need, but how the board fell, how Tyree Wilson, Will Anderson, and Jalen Carter, the 3 best defensive prospects, in my opinion, are off the board. If one of those guys are at 8 with the Falcons, I think they take them. But I think they go BPA. I think they shore up the secondary once again. And then they go Devin Witherspoon and pair him with AJ Terrell in the secondary. That's a pretty nasty freaking duo with the Falcons. So I like Devin Witherspoon.
Pans out.
Yeah, they all have to pan out.
Yeah.
That's the fun of the draft. But yeah, Devin Witherspoon at 8 to the Falcons. I think they go BPA, and I think that's Devin Witherspoon at this moment for me.
All right, now at number 9, the Chicago Bears. They're definitely going to, I think, hit the offensive line with this pick after trading down from 1. And I think they're going to go Paris Johnson Jr., the offensive tackle from Ohio State. I think he's like the second best offensive tackle available in this draft. And they definitely need to shore up that defensive line, protect their young quarterback. They got DJ Moore now, along with some other picks. Slowly but steady, the Bears are making some progress. And building through the draft, which I like. And I think they're definitely going to go offensive line here. Maybe not Paris Johnson, but I think he's the best one available. So
Well, they need needs. They go BPA.
yeah.
Like if Carter fell to 9, like Saransky, Tyree Wilson. I'm just saying they go BPA, and I think Paris Johnson is probably
one of them right now.
One of the guys. Yeah. 100%. Number 10, Philadelphia Eagles, the team that lost in the Super Bowl to the Kansas City Chiefs. They're interesting because they have 2 picks. They have the 10th pick. They also have the 30th pick, second to last pick in the first round. So they can kind of be a little more aggressive here. And I think this is the biggest shocker of the draft. And I think they go Bijan Robinson, running back, Texas. I think they're obviously a highly centric running offense, but that's mostly because of Jalen Hurts. They have the weapons, Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown. You could go like O-lineman, you can go D-tackle, you can kind of go those positions, but I don't know if they really want to. I think their O-line's really good. I guess they kind of have to repair their D-tackle position. They lost a couple guys in free agency. You could do that at 30, and maybe because of Tyree Wilson, Carter, and Anderson off the board, you may not want to reach for one. They go Bijan Robinson. Might be the best prospect in the draft. The problem is he plays the running back position, and you should only take a running back in the first round if it's a luxury, and it is a luxury because the Eagles are a Super Bowl contender, and they just were in the Super Bowl. I think it's Bijan Robinson, and man, oh man, Bijan, Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and Dallas Goedert. That's a pretty sick offense right there. That was already a really good offense last year. So I think they go the Texas running back, and that might be the only running back that goes in the first round, depending if Jahmyr Gibbs sneaks into the first. But I got Bijan Robinson 10 to the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah, I also thought, like in my little board preparing for this, I had him going there as well. So I definitely agree with that one. So this is I feel like a tricky one for me at 11, the Tennessee Titans. So I was, debating between, an offensive lineman but an offensive lineman for them. But I'm going to shake it up a little bit. I'm going to give them a weapon on the offensive side. And I think I'm going to go Jackson Smith and Jigba, wide receiver, Ohio State. They need some more firepower on that offense. I was going to shore up the offensive line or maybe get like a corner. But, I like this pick a lot. Gives them a weapon they really need on the offense. So, yeah, wide receiver. Like that one?
No, because my next pick, I like the pick. I know. Yeah. I think it's a fine pick, but the beauty of us not doing each single pick with 1 through 31, because there's only 31 picks this year, is that some of the guys you want are going to get taken by either me or JR and vice versa. I'm at Texans at 12, right? They went quarterback at 2, CJ Stroud. And then I was like, they need a weapon.
Yeah.
What's better than pair him up with his teammate, Jackson Smith-Njigba, from Ohio State? You take a 1 pick before, and I think people in the war room of Houston are probably punching a wall. I don't know if I can go receiver. I think it's too early to go maybe an Addison or a Johnson or a Zay Flowers or a Downs or Hyatt. So I'm stuck here. I'm very stuck here.
Yeah.
I'm going to go a little interesting here. I'm going to flip onto the defensive side of the ball, and I'm going to get a nice edge prospect from the University of Georgia, and that is outside linebacker / defensive end Nolan Smith. I think taking Smith to Jigba off the board, you could reach for an Addison, you could reach for a Johnston. I don't think you do that because I think they can get value in the second round at the wide receiver position. I don't think there's any need to reach. But I think they go not a surefire prospect, but an edge that is all over everyone's board from 7th to 27th. How crazy this guy is moved. He coming off an injury about 6-7 months ago, but this guy has a potential top 10 potential. Nolan Smith, kind of short, not short. He's very long, kind of skinny. Needs to add some weight, but I think the Texans are like, we'll go quarterback, we'll go edge. We'll get 2 surefire positions. If you hit, it's awesome. So I think they go Nolan Smith at 12 instead of reaching for a wide receiver.
Yeah, I had Nolan Smith going like 2 picks from now. Yeah, I like that pick. At 13, it's the New York Jets. Yep. There's been a lot of rumors, we're not doing trades, but they might trade back. However, with this guy still available, I believe they'll pick him That's what I've been hearing. That's what I kind of would want. I'm kind of like, I like Osiris Torrance. It's way too early to pick him.
Yeah.
But I kind of like his versatility.
Yeah, 100%.
Kind of big on him. But I believe the Jets will go Broderick Jones, tackle from Georgia. With Aaron Rodgers, hopefully coming in. I think he will, but it's like a 98% chance maybe. They got to shore up this offensive line. It's kind of been atrocious ever since like Nick Mangold and Brickshaw left. We've had so many problems with the offensive line. Becton's coming back, but you can never trust that he's going to stay healthy. Our offensive line, I feel like, always gets hurt. So, bring in a guy, Broderick Jones, got a tackle. We really struggled with tackle last year, especially with all the injuries. So I think maybe they'll potentially trade back. We're not doing trades, but if he's still not available. But since he's available, I think they will pick him.
I think tackle is a safe fire pick. I think, obviously, Saransky's off the board and
Paris Johnson's
off the board. So you go the next best. That's Broderick Jones. Nothing wrong with that pick at all. New England Patriots, the Jets, the Bills rivals, our teams, the rivals. They could go for a receiver, but that just feels unlike the Patriots. Like, I don't think they go receiver. I think they kind of go safe here. And I think this guy that maybe doesn't fall out of the top 10, but does in our mock draft, that's Christian Gonzalez, the cornerback from Oregon. Bill Belichick loves his secondary players. That's what he's known for. That's what he's built his defense on. And why not go the second best corner or the best corner left on our board right now and Christian Gonzalez at corner from Oregon? I saw some mock drafts have him go in top 10. I still don't think his ball skills are up to where I think teams want it. I think Devin Witherspoon is a step ahead of him. But at 14, you're taking the best corner available on the board. And I expect to see maybe a potential run in the corners in a little bit. Steelers are coming up. They need a corner. But yeah, Christian Gonzalez, cornerback, Oregon, is the Patriots picking. He might be a long-term Patriots corner because they developed that secondary pretty well.
Yeah, they do. Belichick loves that secondary and kind of just gadget players as well. So this is a weird pick for me.
Very weird pick.
Yeah. Number 15, the Green Bay Packers are up. And assuming that, Rodgers is going to be gone or he's going to be on the Jets by maybe Friday of the draft or maybe hopefully before that. But trying to pair someone up with Jordan Love. This is kind of a reach. I like this player a lot, though. I kind of watched a couple of his games in college. I think he's the best at his position, although a lot of people say otherwise. That is the safety net for their young QB, Jordan Love, and that's Michael Mayer, tight end at Notre Dame. I think this guy is kind of like the full package. He's a great blocker. Sorry, I think we pressed at the same time.
My bad.
He's a great blocker. He's a great, safety net for a QB. He was that at Notre Dame. He's got like 10 receptions. Well, he was the QB would throw at him all the time as a safety blanket. He's got great ball skills. I think this could be a good pick for the Packers. They're finally drafting weapons after Rodgers is gone. But I kind of like this fit here, especially for their young QB.
Yeah, it's a great fit. Michael Mayer, Dalton Kincaid are probably the two consensus top tight ends in this draft. You go Mayer at 15. I think that's awesome. Commanders at 16. This is interesting, right? Their top needs according to PFF: quarterback, guard, center, and linebacker. Guard, too early, even though I love Osiris Torrance. Center, there's no center you take in the first round in this year's draft. And linebacker and Drew Sanders, Trenton Simpson, and Jack Campbell, I don't think they're first-round talents. Or if they are, they're the bookend of the first round. You know what that means, guys. The Commanders are getting probably not their future, the quarterback of the future, because they always mess it up. But what they think when they draft, and that is, once I find him, let's see, where is this quarterback? Come on. Oh, right here. Will Levis, quarterback, Kentucky. They take the best quarterback left on the board. There's 4 consensus first-round quarterbacks. I love me some Hendon Hooker, former Virginia Tech player, then transferred to Tennessee, but he's not a first-round talent, in my opinion. Will Levis is the last of the quarterbacks. He can sit a little behind Sam Howell, but I also think he can beat out Sam Howell right away. I don't think that's a huge competition. There's some people saying maybe he goes top 5, top 6 now with some smoke. I believe that is smoke, like what people call it. I think Commanders get their quarterback of the future, and I think they get the final quarterback selected in the first round, in my opinion, and that is Will Levis, quarterback, Kentucky.
Yeah, I could see that happen. The Commanders in a weird situation right now.
Very.
Their little rebuild. So I believe it's pick 17 on the Steelers. And, the Steelers, they could add another weapon, for Kenny Pickett. However, I think they're going to stick to the defensive side and figure out the secondary, kind of pick someone in the secondary here. And it's between two guys. One of them's more, you could play cornerbacks, more of a safety, but I'm going to go more like the true cornerback, and that is Joey Porter Jr. Out of Penn State. I was thinking between him and Brian Branch, but they already have Minka, who's kind of similar to Brian Branch. So I think we're going to go more of a true corner and kind of, solidify that secondary a little more. Mike Tomlin's a defensive coach. So I think they'll probably go defense here, although they could surprise us and maybe pick one of those receivers off the board. But I kind of doubt it.
I like it. I think tackle probably for the Steelers, but I think the tackles that you would take probably in this range, the Jets took the last one with Broderick Jones. I love Darnell Wright, Anton Harrison, but I agree. I like corner. I think Brian Branch is probably more of a safety, and it might be.
Yeah, I agree.
You might want to take more of just a guy you don't have to develop or change positions right away in the first round. 18, Detroit Lions, right? They went Tyree Wilson with the 6th pick of the draft, right? That's what I had.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So they went edge already. Maybe they go get another weapon. And maybe that weapon is I got to get these ready faster. So it's going back and forth too much for me, Jer. Jordan Addison, USC wide receiver. I think there's a consensus. I don't know after Smith-Njigba. I have a lot of first round grades, like 5 or 6 on the wide receiver position, but I don't know what order, right? Like I think it's Smith-Njigba, and then I think it's like 2A, 2B, 2C, 2CD, and then 2E. Like it's kind of that crazy kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And with Jameson Williams suspended for 6 games, I like St. Brown, but I still think they need another weapon. Like Jameson Williams barely played his rookie year. They went Tyree Wilson first round. They can kind of go the luxury receiver with that 2nd pick, get another weapon, and then it's Jordan Addison, wide receiver, USC, the former Blindikoff Award winner at Pitt.
Yeah, I like him a lot. And I think the Lions, especially, like you said, I think you mentioned the Jameson Williams for 6 games. So that's definitely a little hole they have to fill for the beginning of the year, at least. So at number 19, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, post-Brady era, they got Baker, I believe.
Yeah, this could have been a Will Levis spot too.
Yeah, that's where I was kind of hoping for.
My bad.
But he went off the board. So I got to switch things up here. It's definitely, no other QB I'm going to take here. So I'm going to, go with not a safe pick, but they've been, visiting and having visits with a lot of the edge rushers in this draft. And I'm going to kind of go along with that theme. And I'm going to go Miles Murphy, Clemson. They're kind of lacking they have, good rushing defense, but not really that solid at pass rushing. So I think, Miles Murphy, you can never go wrong, with the edge rusher, especially if they turn out great. They're in a weird situation here with Baker, and, they still have a good roster. So I'm going to solidify that defense a little bit more and get somebody to get to the QB.
This is like a best player available kind of pick as well.
Yeah.
Where they have a couple holes to fill. They didn't get anybody in the first round, but if Will Levis is there, I would expect, maybe not them to take him, but I would expect it to be a hot topic on ESPN on that draft night. But I like it. Seattle Seahawks at 20. Already went Jalen Carter at 20. At 5. So they filled the D-line need. They're gonna go on the opposite side of the line, inside, and they're gonna take who Jared and I have both mentioned a couple times tonight. Both Jared mentioned that we kind of like, and I gotta go find them.
I know.
That is Osiris Torrance, the guard from Florida. It's a one guard / center first round draft. There's a ton of good second round talent when it comes to the guard and center position, like a John Michael Schmitz, Steve Avila, a Matthew Bergeron who can move from tackle to guard. There's a ton of those options. So if you don't want to reach, but there's one first round interior O lineman, and that is O'Cyrus Torrence. Some people don't like their scheme fit, but this guy's a mauler. This guy's a big guy, and he was a proven starter at Florida. I think Seattle can booster their O-line. They have a good running game with Kenneth Walker, good weapons. They like Geno Smith a lot. He led them to the playoffs. They went Jalen Carter in the first round, O'Cyrus Torrence at the end of the first round, and I think that's a pretty good dang draft for the Seahawks. So they kind of bolster their D-line and their interior, their O-line, with their 2 picks in the first round.
Yeah, I think we're both really high on this guy. So solid pick. So at 21, the Chargers, and there's stuff going on between Austin Eckler, the contract and everything. So I was maybe thinking, why not maybe Gibbs? But I'm gonna choose something that really hurt them when in the postseason. And that's just their injuries with the wide receiver position. So I'm, going to give Herbert another weapon. I'm going to go with Zay Flowers from Boston College. I mean, Mike Williams and Keenan Allen, seem to, especially Keenan Allen, he seems to never be healthy. So, in the long season where you're a team that's expected to make the playoffs, if someone goes down, if those two go down, the receivers are kind of garbage. So I'm going to go Zay Flowers here and give Herbert, the chance to win in the playoffs.
I love Zay Flowers. I would love him at 27 for the Bills. Addison and obviously JSN already off the board. I think Zay Flowers would do it all like slot receiver. He's incredible. So give the Chargers another weapon. Like you say, Keenan Allen never stays healthy, so that's a good pick.
Yeah.
In my opinion. 22, the Baltimore Ravens. This is interesting because you would think they would go wide receiver, and that's not a bad pick. And I think a lot of Ravens fans are going to be clamoring for a wide receiver at 22. I think they get mad at me, and I think they go cornerback position, and I think they go Deontay Banks corner for Maryland. I think the Ravens are like some of those teams that just refuse to take skill positions in the first round. I know they just took Rashad Bateman, but he hasn't really panned out. So that might kind of scare them. They're like, you know what? We brought in Odell. We have Rashad Bateman. Maybe we wait to the second or third round because I think the receiver class is pretty deep until after round 3. So maybe we wait to take a receiver and we go best corner on the board. Maybe you could have went Cam Smith from South Carolina, Emmanuel Forbes from Mississippi State, maybe even Kelly Ringo, who could slide back into the first round. But I think they go Deontay Banks corner for Maryland, and he's the third corner off the board, and I think they solidify that secondary. We know the Ravens like their defense, so Deontay Banks at 22 for the Ravens.
I like that pick. I was debating him for the Chargers pick, but I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to go secondary there. So at number 23 for the Minnesota Vikings, I'm going to go another receiver. I'm going to go
receivers off the board.
Yeah. Quentin Johnson from TCU. With the loss of Adam Thielen, if Justin Jefferson goes down, their number one receiver is KJ Hamler. So I think you pair him up with, a weapon like Jefferson, and he could be very productive from day one. He's a kind of a bigger body receiver, 6'3".
He's like the Mike Williams type of receiver.
Yeah, exactly. So I think, paired up with Justin Jefferson, I think this could be a, pretty star duo. So they had other holes, but they could have went maybe like a cornerback. But I'm just thinking they lost Adam Thielen. It's just kind of get someone to fill him in, and maybe even better. I
like it. Another pair. They lose Thielen, you get a big body receiver next to Jefferson. I think that fits. Quentin Johnson at 23 to the Vikings. 24, Jacksonville Jaguars. Like you could go receiver here, but they have Calvin Ridley. They have Christian Kirk. They have Zay Jones. Zay Jones?
Yeah,
Zay Jones. Thank you. So I think they go. I think they go on the defensive side of the ball. And I think they kind of shore up the D-line, and that is Kalijah Kancey from Pitt. PFF has him as 14th best prospect on their board. Take him at 24, 10 spots behind what they think. I think this is just a safe pick. I think they go defense. I think they don't go flashy. The Jaguars have been known to go a little flashy, like Travis Etienne. So they're not going to go running back. They've been known to mess up a lot of picks. And then they made the playoffs. So you know what? I guess you could sport a tackle like Darnell Wright or Anton Harrison or Dawan Jones to help Trevor Lawrence. Nobody's ever going to get mad at that. But besides that, I think you go D-tackle. I think Kalijah Kancey is a safe pick. Jaguars fans might be like, because it's not the flashy. But guess what, guys? Sometimes not being flashy in the first rounds helps. It helps when you don't have to go always the flashy guys.
The best teams are usually the ones that aren't flashy.
Yes, exactly. So Jaguars kind of go simple. They go the best defensive player left on the board, and they go Kalijah Kancey from Pitt.
I like this guy. I like that guy a lot. So this was another for the Giants. I'm possibly like reaching here a little bit, but I think it fills a hole that especially the Giants need right now. I mean, their defense has been really good, especially towards late in the year.
Yeah,
but I think if they could get a linebacker to kind of put it all together, just emphasize on that defense, because I think they're kind of short on linebackers, especially inside linebacker right now. No really big names there. I'm going to go Jack Campbell, Iowa, for the Giants. I think they need the linebacker presence. He has got the size, he's got athleticism, and hopefully he could become a leader. Not when he first gets there, but throughout his career, become a leader for that defense. This is like a area where it's obviously not the best player available, but there was no need that really stuck out to me for the Giants. So Jack Campbell.
I like it. I think they can definitely go receiver. There's still some receivers on the board that I like. Jalen Hyatt, I really like. I know people don't love him. And then Josh Downs, who people don't have a first-round grade on, but I love Josh Downs from UNC. Maybe Tank Dell, but that's probably a little too early. But like Hyatt's probably a borderline first-round receiver.
Yeah.
That's not a bad option. But yeah, Cowboys at 26. So I was between two players. I'll tell you right now. Between Emmanuel Forbes, corner from Mississippi State, and I'm between Lucas Van Ness from Iowa. And I'm going to go Lucas Van Ness. I do think this is the spot if Bijan falls. This is where Bijan goes. Even with Tony Pollard, I just think this is what the Cowboys usually do. But I saw a mock draft today, JR, from Matt Miller from ESPN, had Lucas Van Ness top 10.
Jeez.
Doesn't mean it's going to happen, but this guy falls all the way to where are we at? 27.
Yeah,
Cowboys.
I mock drafts with him high as well.
Yeah, so I think edge rusher is a safe pick. You don't go flashy. You can go corner. I like Emmanuel Forbes. Pair him with Trayvon Diggs, but I think you go another edge rusher here. You get Lucas Van Ness. I think you show up the D-line. Their top four needs are running back, D-line, linebacker, corner. I fill a need. Perfect. The biggest thing with the draft, do you fill a need or do you go BPA? That's the biggest thing what you want to do. And you try to get a combination of both, BPA with the need, and then you hit a home run usually. So Lucas Van Ness from Iowa is the pick at 27 for the Dallas Cowboys. Oh, no, not 27. Yeah, 27 or 26?
26.
26. Where is that? Because PFF is a stupid freaking thing because they forget that the Dolphins don't have a first-round pick.
Yeah.
So, JR, you're up with, let me go get the team. And there's one player on the board that if you take, I'm going to be really mad at you. I'm a Bills fan, so JR gets to do my bidding right now. Or not my bidding, gets to do what I wish
I feel like it's going to be that player.
It's going to be that player, dude. And we're going to tweet this, man. Oh, no.
Yeah, that was a lot of pressure. But, yeah, I'm just going to come out and say it. Jahmyr Gibbs.
Oh, my God, dude. Really?
Yeah, I mean you're running
it's your pick. I'm not gonna not do it. Obviously, you're gonna make me tweet this, and you're gonna make me retweet this.
Hey, if it's right, you better tweet it.
I'm gonna tweet. I'm tweeting this whole thing anyway. I'm like the whole draft. So you're gonna make me. I gotta go find Jahmyr Gibbs now. Oh.
Yeah. So I think it just makes sense. I mean, dude, if he's good, that could elevate you and just beat the Chiefs or beat the Bengals, man. I think you got other needs, maybe like defensive line, edge rusher. I mean, your needs more than me, but maybe you get another receiver. But I think Jahmyr Gibbs is kind of a good fit here. What do you think?
I absolutely hate it. I think like receivers in need, like if like Zay Flowers was here or Addison, I think that's a safe pick. I like Jalen Hyatt. I don't know if they go 27 Hyatt. The thing is, and this is something you're not going to know because you don't follow the Bills. The Bills usually take a pick. Their pick is usually a top 30 visit.
Okay.
Jahmyr Gibbs wasn't their top 30 visit. I'm not saying it's not going to happen. I don't want to like crash on your parade. I don't think Jahmyr Gibbs is a necessity. I'm a big fan of not taking a running back in the first round. I've always preached that. I think they have James Cook, who I really like. Had an up and down rookie year, second round pick last year, and I think because they gave Singletary too many carries. Singletary's gone. They brought in Damian Harris, who I kind of like as that 2B running back or that second running back.
You think James Cook's good enough to,
I think what the Bills do, I think he is.
Okay.
So I like Jahmyr Gibbs. I do. I think he's a first round talent. That's not what I'm saying. The board fell kind of unfortunately, I think, for the Bills, in my opinion here. My pick, if I was up, would have been Darnell Wright, the tackle from Tennessee.
Okay.
I think they need another right tackle. I think they need to shore up that right side of the O-line. They did that in the offseason with the guard position. They brought in Connor McGovern from the Cowboys. Not the Jets, Connor McGovern, the other Connor McGovern.
The worst one.
Whoa. Darnell Wright, I think I would have went Darnell Wright at 22.
What if Bijan was out there?
No.
Still no.
I'm anti-running back first round. I'm anti because I think there's more value if you hit on a tackle than you hit on a running back.
Yeah.
Right?
You have to tackle for maybe their whole career.
12 years, and you look how good the Eagles O-line this year was.
Yeah.
Like you just hit on those guys. They can go like Mozzie Smith, D tackle from Michigan. Maybe Will McDonald, edge from Iowa State. I don't love the edge first round at this point. The tackle I can get aboard with. I'm gonna have to tweet this. I knew you were gonna do that. There's one thing I didn't want. It's all good. No worries. No worries. You're gonna get a lot of Bills fans under the freaking thing. No worries. Because Bills fans do not want Jahmyr Gibbs round one. The only, from what I've known from a lot of stuff with the Bills, it's Bijan running back or no running back. That's kind of what there is, but doesn't mean they're right.
Yeah, we'll see.
They're not drafted. We'll see.
Couple days.
28 Cincinnati Bengals. They need a tight end. They need a D line. They need a D back. And I think they get a little greedy here. And they go the second best tight end on the board, potentially. Maybe the first, it depends how you view him. Dalton Kincaid, tight end, Utah. Man, I still can't get over you took Jahmyr Gibbs at 27. Man, that's going to haunt me.
Once you said, I hope there's one guy I don't want. I'm like, yeah, he's definitely Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yeah, okay. So Dalton Kincaid, tight end from Utah. I think like the Bengals could do a couple of things. D-line, corner, best player available. This is the best player available, in my opinion. PFF had him as the 10th best prospect. You're taking him at, where are we at? 28. I don't know. You have him, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins. I don't really love their tight end room right now. So get another weapon. This also could be a spot for Jahmyr Gibbs. I don't know. Maybe more running back second round for the Bengals. They lost Samaje Perine, but I don't think Jahmyr Gibbs is a direct fit replacement for Samaje Perine. Maybe like a Zach Charbonnet from UCLA in the second round. But they go Dalton Kincaid, tight end. They can go Brian Branch. They can go Darnell Wright. Those type of guys. But I like Dalton Kincaid, tight end from Utah, 28.
Yeah. I'm not huge on Kincaid, but I like Mayer much better for some reason.
Well, Mayer went 15. So
yeah, because I picked him there, but so I'm trying to find this guy on the thing, but I'll just
did I not add him? I added 50 pros.
I swear I saw him earlier.
Okay, I'll look for him when you say it.
But I am going to pick Keon White, defensive end for the. Oh, I should have said my pick first. At 29 for the Saints, I'm going to pick Keon White. Oh, you found him from Georgia Tech. I mean, Cameron Jordan, doesn't have much time left in the NFL. He's getting older. I mean, he's still great. And I think they lost Davenport. So I don't know. Sure up the defensive line. This guy's, hit or miss. But, I've seen some good things about him. And it was between him and or maybe like a D tackle like Mozzie Smith or Brian Breesy. But, I went D end here. Kind of favored DNs more. I don't know. Because if they could get to the quarterback. But yeah, so I think the Saints going to go here.
Yeah, Keon White. He's a borderline first round talent. Some people have him in the second round, some people in the first round. But when you get to this part of the draft, you're going to get those borderline kind of picks. At 30, Eagles are on the board once again. They went Bijan Robinson at 10. They went the running back position. And I think they're going to go to the secondary position. And this is some guy that Jared talked about. Some team, I forgot the team, the Steelers, taking him early. That's Brian Branch, Alabama. He's too good to pass up. This is one of their top
guys. Great value for him.
It's too hard to pass up, right? You can move him to corner. I wouldn't. I would keep him at his natural position. It's tough to move a first-round prospect to a different position, right? Like if you're gonna take a tackle and you want to move him to guard, don't do that. Take a guard. Wait. You know what I mean? Like that doesn't really. You don't want to mess with the guy because there's a lot invested in the first-round pick. Brian Branch, safety from Alabama, the best safety in the class. Maybe him, Jordan Battle, or Antonio Johnson are probably the three safeties. He's the clear cut, in my opinion, the best safety. He's probably the only safety you would take in the first round, and that's Brian Branch, Alabama. Sure up to secondary. You go Bijan at 10, and then you go Brian Branch at 30.
Yeah, so then at 31, last but not least, it's the Kansas City Chiefs. And so now there's two guys who kind of debating between. That is, it's hitting the offensive line, protecting Mahomes. That's, I think Darnell Wright is still on the board, correct?
He's still on the board.
Yeah, so it was Darnell Wright or Anton Harrison.
Yeah.
But I think I'm going to go best player available, and that's Darnell Wright from Tennessee. I think they could really use some extra help on the offensive line. There's really, maybe there's a couple needs on other places, but I think you can't go wrong with an offensive line pick, especially late in the first round. So I think this is great value for him. Some people have him going maybe top 15. So if he falls here for the Chiefs, that's great value for this guy. He could be really talented. So yeah. That sums it up. And I would have went. That's the guy I talked about. I would have went for the Bills at 27. Some of the guys still on the board. Anton Harrison, the tackle from Oklahoma, Jared, was in between him and Darnold. Right? I think you made the right decision there. You also have like Will McDonald from Iowa State, Mozzie Smith, Jalen Hyatt. Am I missing anybody that kind of jumps off the board? Oh, Dawan Jones, maybe. Am I missing anybody that like Darnell Washington tight end?
Yep. If you want to go another third tight end, that's probably your guy. Anybody else that I missed off the board, you think?
No, not really.
Let's see. Drew Sanders at linebacker. I don't know if he's a first-round talent. Brian Breesy, the D tackle from Clemson. I've seen him at the end of first round a lot.
Yeah, I was going to.
BJ Ojulari, people like. Cam Smith has been talked about. So those are the kind of guys we missed. You guys will see this mock draft on Thursday on Twitter. So we'll have the draft. I have the graphic right here. Once we get off, I'll download it. I'll save it. And it's kind of cool. The Jets walk away with Broderick Jones. Peter walks away really mad. And I just want to make it known, Bills fans, I would have took Darnold right at 27. So I just want to make sure everyone knows that. And Jared,
watch it happen.
I'm gonna be so mad if it happens. I love. It's like I put a tweet out that actually blew up on Twitter. Like I quote tweeted. I took a video from ESPN. And it was them talking about maybe the Bills taking Jahmyr Gibbs. And I wrote in my tweet, and this tweet absolutely blew up. And I was like, I like Jahmyr Gibbs. I think he's a first-round talent. I think he's a first-round prospect. I just think the Bills have other needs, and I think it just doesn't fit for what the Bills want to do because I think James Cook is the same thing. I think it's the same thing. Like, and we have Nyheim Hines. So I was kind of like.
Nyheim Hines, special.
Yeah, I get it. Look, I get it. Jahmyr Gibbs is good. The thing is with Jahmyr Gibbs, he only made one top 30 visit.
Yeah,
Buccaneers
or something maybe.
Buccaneers at 19. I'm not discrediting, dude. I'm not trying to like bash on your pick at all. The mock draft's a crapshoot, man. If we get like 3 of these right, like outside of like 1 and 2, and at this point 2 might be wrong with CJ Stroud. Like I think there's one
right there.
Will Anderson probably, but what if the Cardinals trade out? So like Jay,
we trades screw up everything. But
trades we don't get. That's not our fault. If we walk away with 5 right, I'll be ecstatic.
Yeah.
Be ecstatic if we walk around with 5 right. Bryce Young, we got 1, and then I think it's a crapshoot.
Yeah.
CJ Stroud goes 2, then we're looking good. I think we have a chance.
Yeah.
We're looking good to get 5. So we'll see on the mock draft on Thursday. First round's on Thursday. I'm doing a Bill show on Friday night for 5 hours. Round 2 and round 3 on Bill and Buffalo. If you follow me on Twitter, you'll see it. So that's going to be fun. But JR, tell everyone where they can find our social media and where they can find it on the video.
Yeah, so at Talking Sports PD, the links are in the bio of this video. Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. We're on all those. Plus, if you want to listen on the podcast, Apple's for future episodes, we're on Spotify and Apple Podcast at Talking Sports PD. So Pete's we're gonna be posting the summary of our draft that we did. And Pete's gonna share with the Bills fans that he loves the pick. And don't forget UnderDog Fantasy-Code TSP. If you're a new user, enter it. They'll double your deposit. Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. Deposit anywhere from $10 to $100. So you throw in 10, they'll add 10, and so then you'll have 20 in your account. If you possibly, I think you could do it on the draft. NBA playoffs. Make some parlays. Do
Baseball
versus baseball. Just start
hockey
playoffs, Stanley Cup playoffs. There's a lot of sports going on.
Yeah.
So, sit on the couch, enjoy it, play some fantasy, and maybe win some money. So, at UnderDog Fantasy-Code TSP, and then follow us on social media at Talking Sports PD. Don't forget to subscribe.
Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to drop a like or comment. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to the YouTube channel, like Jared just said. If you're listening on Apple Podcast or Spotify, we appreciate it. Drop a review, download the episode, subscribe on that. And as always, every social media, follow us on social media, on TikTok, on Instagram, on Twitter. Everything will be in the description. We'll be back with another episode in a couple weeks. You guys don't want to miss it. Until then, this was the Talking Sports Podcast, hosted by Peter DiBiasi and Rocco Trumpbour. Hopefully you guys enjoy the draft and have a good rest of your day. Thank you.